Hey everyone, it's me, Al, and I just wanted to come on real quick and go over some things. I've been hanging out with writers quite a bit, and the idea of editing has come up. And I think that the idea of what we save and what we throw away is very important. And I just wanted to encourage both the artists, ceramics, pottery people, the ceramicist, and the people who do pottering, and also the people who do writing. You may have a bad time. And writers, they may have things that get rejected hundreds of times, right? Before anything is published. And some things they write may never be published, and some things are not even meant for the public to see, and are simply practice, right? So, if writers don't know, I do the same thing here at the pottery, right? So I'm going to show you my cry pile. This pile are things that did not work out, right? These are practice pots, what I was practicing. So a lot of times, things don't even make it to the kiln. If I'm practicing, they may crack up until I figure out how to get them dry. So there are 10 processes probably that I need to put all the pots through, and to be able to get them out to sell to somebody. And if one of those processes fail, they cannot be sold. It's fair and simple. So if it's a hard process, or a process that I'm unfamiliar with, it could be easy to some people. I may need to practice a whole bunch just to get it down, right? So I am not a writer, I'm a potter, but I do a lot of writing, and I make quite a few pots, I would like to think. Probably not as much as some. There's always going to be some who make more than you, for sure, right? And I'm not a production potter. I'm just like a small-time artist who has the ability probably to go a little bit production, and I can fill a shed if I need to. But I'm going to show you my cry pile right now and the things that did not make it. So for those who think that every pot deserves a chance, you're going to cry at this one. So I'm going to flip around, and right here's my cry pot. So what needs to happen is I need to break all these pots up, and even in here, these shards will be going to places like maybe the art gallery that has mosaics for kids. So I need to take a hammer for these, because if I were to send these off, somebody would try to use them, I know, and they would get hurt or something, and I don't want the liability, right? So safety first. We need to practice safety, and we need to practice quality and customer service and all those things. So just to talk about a few, these pots right here, I lost a kiln load probably about, I don't know, like 30 to 40 pieces, because I tried raw firing, and these were too dry to glaze. So I did dipping glazes inside first, poured out, did the rollout, dipped the outside, dipped the outside in the pail, but that water from the glaze absorbed, and I got handling damage and absorption damage from the water. See that? From the moisture that's naturally in the glaze. So I also had movement from the dust that was on those dry pots, right? So see where the micro cracks are? So same for these. These might look fine. To see the fingernailing. The way that these were glazed for a raw fire or single fire, because the inside may have been glazed and still a little bit wet, the outside was unable to take in the glaze, and you get these little fingernail lifting. The glaze lifts, and you get fingernailing marks. I call them fingernailing because it looks like fingernails. This was a raku bowl that I was trying to glaze out on. I did a few. These were raku cups that didn't go all the way full reduction. I could probably take these and refire these, but I have to ask myself if I want to or not, right? What is the opportunity cost and effort loss that would go into a refire? So here, this looks like a perfect little mug, but this right here, fingernailing, it could harm somebody, right? You could get cut on that. So that was from the inside probably being wet and then being almost dry, the top being, the outside being dipped, the outside being dipped in the pail, and then dipped again at the rim to create a stronger color, lifted that glaze. So this especially, a lot of dust here. The glaze actually slid right off my pot onto the shelf. So I don't use kiln wash on my shelves. I never had a problem because I always leave the line up until I tried raw firing, and I've been glazing, I think, with raw fire at the wrong time. So I need to practice raw firing more than I did here. Glaze at the leather hard stage rather than at the bone dry stage. So here I have handling damage and micro cracking from moisture absorption at that stage, at that bone dry stage. So all of these, there's pots that go back a couple of years here. So here I was practicing throwing large with this clay body. I had to work at the paper factory, got dried out, so I had to trim these dry in a mask out on the driveway, and you can see handling damage from there, being shown through in a crack after it was fired. Bottom crackies from being drying too fast and not being flipped, and also maybe too thin or too thick on the bottoms. You need an even thickness, so I have some things I need to work on. This here, bottom crackers. This here might be fingernailing. Yeah, fingernailing right there. But we don't stop, and we don't roll the kiln over the bank, even though you'd want to. You keep going, and you try to learn from your mistakes and make changes, and try to keep the mistakes to a minimum, but sometimes you need to put yourself on the hook for things that may not work to find out if they will work or not, right? So, I don't know what was wrong with this one. This one here might actually be a good one if I clean it. Oh, right here. This was overfired. See that bubble right there? But, I don't know. This actually don't look too bad. Maybe this got into the pile somehow and I didn't. So that's a nice brown, but that went a bit high. That went overfired. So I probably had that in a hot bottom kiln and needed to bring the top in. So here is, thought I had some fingernailing on this too. Yeah, there's a crack in the bottom there. That's from how this form was manipulated. So that's just a few things that may. So here's the thing that I may want to try again at some point. Putting some ash on the edges of those. So there's a glaze bubble there. This overfired. glaze bubble. But put some ash on the edges of these rims and get it to run like that. I need to work towards that. But got some big bowls back here. There's a large bowl buried right there. This here is a crack that went all the way through, right there. So, bottom crackers, glaze sliders, side crackers. Here's a glaze slider here. This is from dust. That's from dust. Also, what will do that is, here's a fingernail. Also, what will do that is the wrong specific gravity of the glaze, either being too thick or too thin. There's handling damage there, probably from when I went to glaze this in the raw fire, single fire. Things went south. So I'm going to go back to bisking, which is low temp firing, so I can handle the pots without destroying them, and I can glaze them without all the loss, right? Until I learn how to better single fire. I know plenty of people single fire and don't have a problem at all, but there you have it. So so I need to practice more, right? And I'm going to practice today, and I'm going to keep practicing until I get it right, right? So hopefully you enjoyed that, and take heart, right? And don't give up. Keep making, keep creating and doing what you're doing, and keep doing things that matter for people who care, right? So be well, and happy potting.